Welcome back to High Five Garage. What I'm gonna do is tape off some ends of wiring. Just whatever. I've done this before on other vehicles. I wanna hook up the battery and see what happens. But first thing you do is any open ends, anything like that, put some electrical tape on them so they're not grounding out. And then go from there on seeing what works, what doesn't work, what does what. And yeah, so let me do that. I'm also gonna hook up the blower motor. So really quick, I'm gonna put that back up there, put the plugs in it, and we will see if that works. And yes, I'm gonna use the old trusty battery from the Camaro that is in the Bug, because it's kind of my only extra battery and it works. So I went through and just looked for any bare wires. Found one up there. I'm pretty sure it just goes to that light. One right there. Who knows where that one goes? Definitely not the prettiest. There's two over there, one over there. I did the dome light up there. All those three are taped off. That pink wire that kind of runs randomly through there goes to the center and doesn't hook up to anything, so I don't know what that's there for. And then a couple on the sides, there's that pink wire, blue wire, these two wires coming off this blower harness. The blower's hooked back up. There's one over there, there's a few back there. Those definitely are starter. That's about it. So I'm gonna clean these terminals and hook the battery up. Okay, key is off, hopefully. Positive is hooked up. Negative. And let's see. This thing have power for the first time probably in 30 years. There is one over there that actually they didn't tape off, but that's a fuel sender. So hopefully that doesn't do anything. Okay. Okay, it's got power. Hopefully that battery's got enough on it to do something. Let's go look around. See if anything's catching on fire. Doesn't seem like it. All right, first time the ignition has been turned on in this thing in probably 30 years. See what happens. I'm pretty sure this key works. I've already tested it with the battery off, or not connected. Okay. I mean, it's turned. Maybe that battery's dead. Maybe I should put the charger on it. So I just looked under the dash again, because obviously nothing happened. And I think all the fuses were pulled out, which is pretty interesting. I'm gonna put the battery charger on, turn the key back on, and probe those and see if there's at least power to one side of them. And if there is, then I'm gonna go get some fuses. I got me trusty voltmeter. I'm gonna turn the key again. Okay. And I'm gonna see if any of these have power. Okay, so I think I figured it out. The reason we don't have any power yet, of course, there's no fuses, but there's no power up there at all, is because the positive off the battery goes straight to the starter. So that means one of these wires needs power. One of these is power to accessories. One of them is switched to turn the starter, turn the starter on and actually have it move the motor. And then an extra one, just red, probably more accessory power as well. So I've got this pulled up. I've got it here as well, but it's not color coded. So D is ignition starter switch. So ignition switch up front with the key. And from B, which is starter, it's black and white going to D. Or stop, it's not black and white, it's, sorry, red and black, which is this one. So this one should be switch to starter. So I don't necessarily understand it, but I mean, it's gotta be starter signal, alternator, and this one goes to fuse box. It's gotta be. So it's gonna need an eyelet, but that is now hooked up and has power. So let's go to the front fuse box and see if anything has power now. Key on. Okay. And, oh, stuff's doing something. Oh God, stop it, stop. Hey, hey. Okay. So we definitely got power to something, because something's doing. I bet it's that one that's tied together. Oh. Okay. Hey, stop it. Stuff's making noise, that's good. Okay, power, power, power. Well, so far all the bottom ones have power. I'm gonna go get 12 fuses and then we will see what happens. Okay, went to O'Reilly's, got some fuses. I got 8s and 16s. I guess 9 and 10 are 16s in the buses, so that's interesting. And then I got some more easy off oven cleaner to finish cleaning the transmission. So the 16s go in 9 and 10. I don't know if it actually says it, but it's the 3rd and 4th from the right. Okay, all the fuses are up there. Hope that's the direction they go. Also, I just realized there's a pink wire here, and that's the pink wire that goes to the back. What is it powering? I don't know. We'll figure it out, and it's kind of tapped into that little thing right there, so I'm guessing a positive. He is on, and well, I guess I had the headlights on. Nothing yet. Maybe I didn't pull them out enough. Oh yeah, headlights on. Headlights on. Cool. I don't know if you guys can actually see that. It's on though. It's kind of dim. I cannot tell if taillights are on. We also have a generator light on. I bet that's supposed to be a generator light or a alternator light. So let's see. Yep. Yep, so that works. We got this hazard switch down here. I think it's supposed to be up in one of these. I pulled it out and it lights up. So that's cool. Does it light up outside of the car? Outside of the vehicle? Oh, we got lights. Oh, we got both lights. That's awesome. Side ones? I don't see anything there. I don't even know if that might just be a marker. It is just a marker. That one doesn't count. That could be on? I'm not sure. God, these old taillights, I just can't tell. I think that's on. Yeah, that looks lit up. So when I go to crank it, like I would be starting it. Oh, of course it doesn't do it. Oh, there it is. Wait. Something clicks, so that's good. Our light's not on anymore. Last thing I want to check is to see if that starter wire is in fact the starter wire. So I'm going to set the camera down, hook the voltmeter up to that, and it'll look at the camera, or the camera will look at the voltmeter, and then when I turn it, I will know. Technically it should work. It's grounded. Let's see if it clicks. So that doesn't seem like it did anything. So I'm definitely not sure what's going on because, okay, I'm gonna get away from wiring for now because there's really no point until we start putting the motor and seeing what happens. So I'm just gonna continue to clean off the transmission, finish that up. Once again, I am soaked. I am nasty. As far as the transmission, Same thing, came out just a little bit better. Probably do a little bit of scraping before install, but not bad, not bad. Definitely way better than when it was. First thing I'm gonna get out of the way is replacing this terminal for the negative. Okay, I'm just going to, I should have got bigger cutters, but I'm just gonna cut this end off. This one's so bad, I just don't even wanna mess with it. So, cut this end off, and it's got plenty of length to do this. And then I'm just gonna strip most of it off. I'm just gonna go slow. All I'm gonna do is get some sandpaper and clean up it 100%. So it's got some nice bare wires. Okay, get the negative terminal. Okay, negative is done. Grab the positive. This one is definitely really nasty. Not even everything's connected. I'm actually interested to see if the whole bus itself has more voltage after I clean this, because it's pretty bad. Okay, seems like plenty of reach, so I'm gonna cut it back, see what the wires look like. Okay, so pretty big difference. Let's clean up the wires with a little bit of sandpaper. Same thing, loosen up the 11s, tighten down the 11s. Okay, make sure direction-wise it's good. Yeah, it's fine. Okay, and then tighten them up. There we go. One thing done, some beautiful new terminals and better connection on the battery. I got some eyelets from O'Reilly's. Let's make sure it goes onto the starter. It does, which is awesome. That's where this wire also goes. It's the main power to the starter. So the bus is pretty much getting 12 volts from the connection on the starter. It's kind of like a post for it. So this one is gone for some reason. No idea why, but we're gonna put that on there, and then these two will connect together, and that'll be done. Okay. Not the best, but it'll do. And then I'm just gonna solder the end shut and onto the wire, because then I know it's connected 100%. Then I wrapped it in some electrical tape so it doesn't accidentally ground on something. Now everything connects to the starter. So I still haven't figured out which one of these wires is starter signal, but now that I look at this one, it's got the connector for the starter signal. So I think what I'm gonna do is somehow ground this and then hook that up and see if the starter kicks over. So I've got this long, kind of thick wire, and what I'm gonna do is pretty much pretend that this is mounted to the trans and grounded. So, bam, it is hooked up to the transmission as far as the starter knows. Okay, and then this side I stripped back, and I'm gonna put inside of this one. All right. Bam. So technically the starter is now grounded. I'm gonna hook up the positive with our new terminal, and then the ground. Same thing. I might have to find something to hold the starter up. Let me see. Okay. And as I said, because this one has technically the correct terminal for a starter signal, just gonna hook it up. Okay, let's see what happens. We got power. Now I'm gonna crank it. Nothing. So signal works at the ignition, but I can never get it back here towards the starter. So I'm going underneath kind of just to look at the wiring, make sure it didn't get cut anywhere or anything. And this is what's down here. It's a tube, bunch of, I think, throttle cable stuff. I don't know. Either way, I'm gonna take it off. Okay, I've came to a conclusion about this starter wiring. I cannot get it to engage the starter. Comes out of the switch, goes into this little box right here, goes into the harness, and then never reaches the back. This bus had this pink wire hanging from here. It's a positive, and it's right here. It's cut, and it ran all the way back and ran right here, and it was down in the motor. I bet, we don't have the starter, so I can't confirm this, the original starter, but I bet this was connected to the starter, and when they needed to start it, they would touch this one to that one, and it would start it up. They'd put the key on, whatever. So that just means it is disconnected somewhere in the harness going to the front. So I started digging a little further into why the ignition was not sending a starter signal to the starter. I figured somewhere in the tube that's underneath the body, wire got cut, ate by mice, something. Well, that's not the case. There's one little section coming out of that tube where the wires are open. There's no shielding around them, and I probed from there to the back to see if there was continuity, and there was. So that means it was making it all the way through the tube. From there, I did continuity from that spot underneath there to the plug. Nothing. So I follow the big loom up, and that wire is not coming out of it. The red and black wire does not come out of the big loom where it's supposed to be. So what it does is it loops out of that harness into another harness and goes into the shifter. Remember, this is an automatic. So I take everything apart, and here they are. So this red and black one is the one that goes to the ignition. This red one goes to a plug on the bottom that loops around, goes into that harness underneath, and goes to the back of the vehicle. If you can see here, this, it's in park, but there is 2 springs and a little piece of like thin metal that it will be touching contacts. Well, as you can see, that little piece of metal is broken and the springs are just out. So it was never able to say it was in park to send signal to the back. I will try and source that piece or make one, because there is more contacts. So the front ones are just for start. The back ones, I'm not sure what they are. I gotta look into it, but they do definitely do something. They are connecting something to something. So here is the 2 springs, and the piece that's, well, supposed to be one piece. And it slips, the 2 springs go on those little, there's 2 of those little pins, and then the U piece slips down in there and pops out when needed. So what I ended up trying to do was solder it back together, which it actually came out okay. Let's see if I can fit it in there and make it work. After a little bit of filing, fits really nice in there. The spring little perches ended up breaking. So what I did, I got some foam, same stuff I used for the fuel tank, and shoved some in there. So it's just enough resistance to push it out, but not enough to where it gets stuck. So that's in park. So lower wire, upper wire. Bam. Continuity. So starter would work in that case. There is something in the middle. I'm not sure what it does, but this is it. Those 2 wires. Bam. Continuity. Cool. And then there's one in the back. Same thing. Needs to touch. Oh, let me loosen this wire. This wire and that wire. Bam. Everything works now. So if you're having starting issues and your starter won't engage and everything else is perfect, that is probably your issue. Solder it back together. Okay, I got everything hooked up. Starter, signal wire, Battery's been charging. Let's see if first time it'll crank. All right. Okay. Always remember to put the plug back in, because it wouldn't do anything in that case. Boop. Okay. All right, plug is back. All right, we got power. Actually got a good amount of power this time. Holy moly. Okay. It is in park. Ha ha ha. Yeah. Yeah. I hope someone learns from this video and of course enjoys this content. Plenty more of it to come, so stay tuned. Next video, I'll be putting some of the interior back together, figuring out how to get the transmission to bolt to the engine, and then start assembling the engine and getting it installed into the bus and get it running. Thank you for watching. High five out.